maintaining a connection beyond the logic established since the very moment of creation. However, others prefer to comprehend it in a deeper way, giving it the name of soulmates. According to the more general knowledge that circulates throughout literature, these souls would have been destined to be for each other, as if they were siblings ready to meet and face life together. However, there has been a researcher who has chosen to take that concept encompassing souls that feel such affinity for each other a bit further. And in the midst of her research work, she has ended up encountering an astonishing reality that fills many with an inexplicable feeling. This researcher could be none other than the renowned Dolores Cannon, who throughout her years chose to navigate the depths of metaphysical knowledge using her skills as a hypnotherapist, researcher, and ultimately, author of several significant works. One of the most noble and noteworthy aspects of this distinguished woman's life is her thirst for knowledge and the need to grow in awareness, motivating herself to pursue the truth and understanding of the universe and ourselves. Once she gained wisdom, she sought to share it with others. Dolores Cannon had a comprehensive understanding of how we all end up connected and contributing a bit of our energy to that process and leap of consciousness that humanity seeks, whether consciously or unconsciously. This was how, concerning the topic of twin flames, she also sought to bring us a bit of that truth she had found behind the apparent and unexplored, publishing her work and, through it, touching the lives of thousands of people around the world. Beyond simply stating that two people are soulmates, this researcher sought to reveal how deep the connection between two beings could go, encountering the fabulous concept that encompasses twin flames. As a preamble, let me tell you that these are two souls that were originally one, and when they separated to inhabit two different physical bodies, they maintained a powerful connection, with each being a faithful reflection of the other. This concept may go far beyond the logical limits you have maintained so far, but I invite you to open your mind to process this information and the notions that Dolores Cannon has provided us. Within this brief space we will share, there may be the key for you to understand that seemingly intangible but powerful bond you have with another individual. Perhaps what you feel and reflect goes beyond simple empathy with other people. That's why I ask you to take a moment to explore the most important notions on this topic together with me, relying on the research Dolores Cannon has conducted and the results she has shared with the world. To start, let's define what a twin flame is, that valuable term that this author has added to our understanding, conceptualizing through this name the deepest connection that can exist between two souls. According to this woman, twin flames are two parts of the same soul, meaning this particular soul was created as one in the beginning. This would imply that, to speak of twin flames, the involved souls do not represent two individually created souls connecting, but rather one soul that has been divided into two parts. After being fragmented, each part of this soul would inhabit a body and embark on a life in the midst of this earthly plane, even managing to feel the bond that connects them in the midst of this reality. In this way, Dolores Cannon managed to explain how two souls, or rather, two twin flames, are connected. It's essential to understand that each part becomes a complete individual, not fragmented, but at the same time, each is a mirror reflecting the reality of the other part. This leads us to reflect on how perfectly the souls have been created, how immense and capable our Creator has configured them, that even when divided, they can represent a complete and fulfilled individual. We should not think that each of these flames comes incomplete, or that, being only a fraction of what they were initially, they have been limited in creative power or any other gifts bestowed upon each of us. Instead, we must understand that the greatness given to us can even be divided without implying that the capacities of the being are diminished, which is simply an awe-inspiring fact. It is thanks to this common origin that this pair of souls develops a spiritual bond that goes far beyond simple logic and transcends the barriers of time and space. According to Dolores Cannon's research, what both parts would feel in the midst of this connection would be so deep and exact that it could be described as seeing oneself reflected in a mirror. This metaphysical expert has also managed to provide an approximation of what one would experience when encountering their twin flame, stating that once they come face to face, each part generates a level of energy capable of representing a high-intensity earthquake. This means that when the meeting occurs between these two beings, their inner selves can be completely shaken, from the most superficial to the deepest aspects within each one. However, not only does this take place during the encounter of twin flames, but facing that soulmate part can lead to confronting very intense aspects of oneself. Finding them would necessarily involve confronting your fears, conflicts, and unresolved issues. As magical and beautiful as the experience of reuniting with your twin flame can be, it can also be somewhat painful. However, this pain brings with it a significant benefit for your life and reality. Your twin flame will shake you and compel you into a process of healing and evolution. In the midst of this, both parts will be perfected, rising thanks to each other's impulse to an expansion of their inner selves and a new level of consciousness if the event is leveraged. To simplify the understanding of what twin flames imply, we must see them as a pair of puzzle pieces that fit perfectly with each other, as if it were a puzzle that, when assembled, reveals the wonder that we only see in pieces. It is based on this that we will present another important aspect that surrounds the topic of twin flames. According to Dolores Cannon and what her notions allow us to interpret, these souls were not sent to Earth to be separated completely, but rather have the mission to find each other. As if it were another test for each of these parts, the destiny they face necessarily involves coinciding and fitting back into harmony and unity in the midst of this earthly plane. This occurs at a level that goes beyond the limitations of our physical world. Can you imagine how magnificent it would be if your journey unconsciously led you with each step towards reuniting with that other part of your soul? According to Dolores Cannon, this is what truly happens with us, and every tiny aspect of our journey is part of that plan, aligning with the incredible force that pulls each of these souls towards the other. But delving a bit deeper into this and confronting another important aspect that this researcher has addressed would be the ability of these flames to transparently and accurately reflect the reality and true essence of each soul. This means that without the influence of any external factors, what one of these souls reveals to the other will always be an exact portrait of their being, encompassing every aspect that makes them up, whether the individual in question is aware or unaware of what they carry. It is because of this that Dolores Cannon talks about how encountering your twin flame can push you to evolve in an inevitable way. Once you come face to face with this reflection, you cannot avoid becoming aware of those aspects of yourself that need work. Your reflection in that other individual, whose soul fits perfectly with yours, is presented perfectly outlined, both in lights and shadows. In that counterpart, you can glimpse your deepest thoughts, emotions, and experiences. There is no mask created by the ego or personal pretensions that can alter or distance your reflection in that other soul from reality. The light that resides in your being, as well as the darkness that envelops it, will be clear. Imagine seeing in another person both the good and the bad within you, and having to recognize the aspects of yourself that need healing from that reflection. You can appreciate both the positive and negative aspects that adorn your life. Encountering this twin flame obligatorily involves seeing the reflection of your weaknesses and strengths, recognizing them and working on them. It also involves acknowledging every triumph and failure of your being, healing the wounds that have arisen from them, and preventing you from transcending. For many, the mere idea of such an exact reflection of their being is something that causes great fear. They have consciously been avoiding what is within themselves, all to avoid confronting unresolved issues with themselves. When I talk about seeing yourself reflected in your twin flame, you should never think that it will be someone with hair or a face like yours. Instead, you should understand that reflection as a projection of what you carry internally. If you have gone through life ignoring childhood wounds, fears, or anxieties due to feeling incapable, your twin flame will show you that from your own form. Their presence becomes, in a way, a means of reflection on what we have been letting go in the midst of our process. According to Dolores Cannon, our twin flame serves a special purpose when encountering us. It acts as a catalyst to expedite the internal work we undertake in the pursuit of perfecting ourselves. As per the propositions of this researcher, the path to completing the union with our twin flame will only lead to a happy destination once we address the things that have hindered our personal growth. In accordance with the notions presented, from the moment we have that encounter with our twin flame, a journey of self-discovery begins, both for us as individuals and on a collective level. In this journey, you will be confronted with many aspects of yourself that you had overlooked, and many others of which you may not have been aware. Amidst this journey, you will also encounter many fears and insecurities that, as an individual, you must overcome if you seek that unification with the soul that was initially fused with yours. In this same vein, Dolores Cannon emphasized the importance of internal work and the discovery of our true selves as the foundation of the process of unifying our soul with that twin flame. It is through this same labor that the growth and evolution of love and compassion begin, because to access a more genuine love, we must necessarily transcend the limitations that this physical world has implanted in us. Similarly, we must start letting go of all those ideas and beliefs that have been circulating for years on earth and that turn out to be erroneous in order to encode our soul with its true purpose. It is no secret to anyone that amid humanity, many beliefs have been established that, rather than helping us, have been hindering our spiritual evolution, one that many tirelessly seek. These very beliefs prevent us from staying in tune with what belongs to the true divine essence, with those high vibration energies that would give us the necessary strength to make the leap to a higher level of consciousness. Some see this as the greatest goal to pursue in their lives and are amazed to understand how our twin flame can so beneficially influence this work. When you feel that unstoppable and powerful force calling you to meet your soulmate, be aware that you are not only being led to reunite with another part of yourself, but also being given the wonderful opportunity to kickstart that internal work that is so necessary for each of us. Another important point to note is that the concept of love to be worked on in the midst of this encounter is not only the love we spread to others, but also the love we give to that twin flame. They deserve the purest feeling from us in a way that cannot be explained. Seeing things from this perspective is how we understand the reasons to work on our inner selves. Ultimately, we cannot give what we do not have, and we cannot manifest and offer such a pure feeling to that soul from a state where we remain tied to our limitations, wounds, and traumas. The twin flame journey implies for each person living it a process in which one by one, the layers with which the ego has covered us are peeled away, leaving us exposed in our purest form. However, this does not mean becoming vulnerable to the world in any way. On the other hand, we should see this as a great blessing, pure once you align yourself with the higher vibrational energies, and with love and compassion, there is nothing that can disturb you, and your being will possess that incredible ability to see an opportunity for growth in the midst of adversity. Ultimately, achieving complete fusion with that other soul can lead us to a much higher level, but to unlock these rewards, both parties involved in the process are required. It is not enough only with the willingness of your twin flame, but yours is also required, and each one must progress in their individual work as well as the work they will jointly undertake as a team, as a couple, and as two parts of something born to be united. You must also understand this process as a profound act of self-love, in which an undeniable importance and respect are given to your own being, settling the debts we have with ourselves at a spiritual and intangible level. Part of these debts will be represented by those wounds from the past, those traumas, and those emotions and events to which we cling tightly, with the way to settle them being the currency of forgiveness. You must necessarily review all these aspects and seek forgiveness for yourself, as well as for others, because only from there and from compassion for everything that did not happen as expected, will we free ourselves from countless burdens that do not help our goal. To open yourself to experiencing the embrace of your twin flame, you must also open yourself to love and transformation, keeping in mind that all this change is presented to improve your life and elevate your soul. Although it is beautiful, the path to merge with your twin flame is not always easy and involves significant challenges for each one who embarks on it. Understanding that no process is identical to another person's, and that everything is determined by the level of baggage that has been carried and accumulated over the years, it represents a challenge that both in you and in that other soul, a deep healing process must take place. The traumas that you face will be reflected in the other part, and you must work on them from within yourself, thus also helping them heal in the person who reflects your being, presenting any amount of turbulence and unexpected events in the midst of all this. However, if all this can be overcome, what could invade your life and your being would be indescribable, as metaphysical studies and Dolores Cannon also expose. But going a little deeper into this knowledge, you must understand that although it is a process that must be undertaken with love, commitment, and acceptance for ourselves and all the events that will result from this journey, it is also an event and a process that cannot be rushed. And at this point, you stop and ask yourself, what is the right time? What indicates that the moment has come for us? You should not be anxious because the universe has it all covered. It orders everything in such a way that each event aligns perfectly for you and that other part of you to come together and merge. It is by no means a process that can be impossible, because everything is arranged for this union to be achieved. Everything is moving behind the scenes so that the world can witness that fantastic encounter in which these two souls, which were once one, dance in a synchronized and harmonious way until they come together in a hug so strong and deep that it manages to fuse them with each other. The only factor that can influence this is undoubtedly the level of commitment and depth that your internal work carries, as depending on this, the universe will understand how prepared you are for this event, which is not taken lightly. Therefore, it has a decisive factor in being ready to receive such a blessing and such an energetic discharge. Understanding this point is how we can assimilate the importance that Dolores Cannon gave to the internal work that each one performs, which necessarily takes shape with delays or advances in the midst of this magical journey. Another question that arises regularly is, why can't twin flames simply unite whenever they want? The decisive factor for the successful fusion is the preparation of each of the souls for the powerful act that this encounter and union imply. Understand that as long as you remain tied to energies, thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that are not favorable to your development and expansion, the universe will not present you with the meeting moment you have sought since your first moment in this earthly plane. Nothing in this physical plane can affect the strength with which you and that twin flame attract each other, but the energetic and mental burdens that you have allowed to settle in you can. You must understand yourself, offer yourself love and acceptance to effectively be prepared to access even greater rewards, or else everything you do will remain superficial, recognized as such by the universe, and keeping you in the place you have been until now. In conclusion, concerning this point, if you wander through the world seeking your twin flame from the outside, but neglect your inner self, you will never achieve your goal. Conduct an objective evaluation of what has been bothering you, what you have wanted to ignore, and even everything that hurts you deeply from within, and address and eradicate them. By doing so, your energy becomes more conducive to the encounter that is rightfully destined for you and your twin flame. Understand this twin flame as a reminder of the infinity and perfection of the universe, and how, unintentionally, it counts, as it is true that each of us is connected to the rest of the souls incarnated in different individuals in this physical plane. Recognize that we all have a thread that connects us to others, and the only difference lies in the intensity and depth of these connections. As with the twin flame, while still being connected to others and influencing their realities and processes in a way that can be extremely subtle at times. The universe, as we know it, goes far beyond what we can see. It is charged with an energy and a configuration that is precise, of which we may only have a tiny gram of knowledge, submerged in kilograms of undiscovered wisdom. But as we make the leap to that higher level of consciousness, we must attend to the known and the task entrusted to us if we want to access the rewards that await just beyond a healing process. Remember that this journey between you and your twin flame is one in which you self-discover, accept yourself, and transform for the better, enveloping yourself in true love and allowing your true self to emerge after removing every obstacle that the ego and those inner demons have placed in your path. And no matter how much fear arises within you, remember to move forward with confidence, for your twin flame will not judge you for what you carry within. They are a reflection of you, accepting you and ready to offer their infinite love and healing power. Let's grasp the vastness of this universe and venture to pay the small entrance fee it demands, which is covered by internal work and forgiveness, because you need to release all those burdens, and it will only be possible through forgiveness to yourself and everything around you, without discrimination between people, situations, and other things. For both Dolores Cannon and each of us, it is hopeful and exciting to think that out there, amidst this vast universe, there exists a soul that can resonate in a completely perfect way with ours. It motivates us to continue on this path of self-discovery and transformation, because for those who spend their lives seeking a connection stronger and deeper than the ordinary, this is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's why I've dedicated myself to sharing this knowledge with those who were not yet aware of it. For those who were familiar with the topic but still immersed in misconceptions, I bring them everything Dolores Cannon provided. In the midst of her quest for growth, she ended up offering valuable lessons and information that can provide each individual with what is necessary to elevate themselves to the next level of consciousness. In addition to benefiting those twin flames who are drawing closer to each other, unable to reunite and not understanding what is preventing them from returning to that state of union in which they were created. So, if this information has been helpful to you, don't just use it. Share it with others.